everyone. I'm Tower Tarot, and I've been experiencing a very strong pull for the past, I don't know, 2 weeks or so to make a YouTube video, which I've I've only had that pull one other time, and I didn't really do anything with it, but it's been gnawing at me lately. And I think it's about time. So, welcome to my first YouTube video. I'm channeling for a very, very hyper specific collective right now, and I pulled some cards to kind of clarify some of the thoughts that I've been having lately. There are so many going through my head, so if you clicked on this video, you are likely being called to one of the messages that I have to tell you right now. But I will leave a couple disclaimers, being that I am not, um, I don't know how to say this without it sounding like an insult to other people, but I'm not here to placate your feelings. I'm here to give you truth. Um, Hard truth, life-changing truth. Thus the name of my channel. Um, I'm not here to, do love readings. And if they do come up, I'm never going to necessarily not do them if I do feel called, but this is not a channel for, I don't know, politeness isn't the word. I guess it really truly is just like placating. I'm not here to um make you delusional, I guess. And that is no shame to people that, are putting out lots of love readings, but that is just not my vibe. Um anyway, I if you are feeling called to watch this video, stay through to the end if you can, and use your discernment about what feels like it's yours. If you're hearing something that you don't like, but it also doesn't sound like anything that's going on in your life, it probably has little to nothing to do with you, and there should be an intuitive pull to the things that I've channeled. So, now that um super long introduction to my channel and to sort of what I'm looking to do here is out of the way, um I am going to read your cards. Um, and also, I chose a black screen for this video, and I will probably continue to, just so that I personally don't feel pressure to look a certain way on camera. I'm not a big social media fan or a social media user. I spend a lot of my time focused on myself and focused on, you know, being kind of clear-minded of energy that can be toxic to me. So yeah. Okay. So I think that you're probably feeling pretty burnt out right now. And you're also on the precipice of life-altering energy. But the burnout, if you don't solve the burnout, the life-changing energy will never be let in. I think that realistically, you have been going down a path that feels endless and feels like no matter what you do, nothing is changing. And part of that is because you are trying to control uncontrollable circumstances. And sometimes the only thing that you can do when faced with burnout is to give over your will to the flow of life, um, and to really nurture that inner calling that you feel, like your inner child's voice, which can be excessively difficult to get in touch with if you are in a state of burnout. It can be a quiet voice unless you're really listening for it. Um, but as I tell many of my friends pretty regularly, the intuitive pull that you feel can often be mistaken with anxiety. And when you can sit with yourself and learn to differentiate the voice of anxiety from the voice of intuition, when you learn that anxiety is fast working, it's it calls in immediacy, whereas intuition will be just sort of a silent nod. It's a hum rather than a scream. It becomes easier to differentiate between the two. And I think most of the time that it's best to practice listening between the two voices is when you are feeling at a pretty neutral level place, but it seems that you have been on this trajectory of burnout for a while because you haven't been listening to your intuition and you haven't been, heeding the call of your inner child. Oh, you might have heard my cat just a second ago. Okay, back to it. Um, and when you don't honor that inner voice, that childlike part of you, the part of you that can do something for fun or do something impulsive or silly or creative or, you know, without fear of judgment, without fear of eyes on you. It it can really make you feel out of touch with yourself. I think as we get older, that creativity is knocked out of us a bit. And I mean, the whole world is sort of set up against pursuing your childlike wonder. I think adulthood for a lot of people looks like responsibility and like being very focused and stable and unwavering. And then when people do experience their dips down, their inability, I think, to feel stable when we experience grief or depression or any numerous sort of life events that knock us down off of what feels like a clear path. It is societally, in a lot of ways, unacceptable. And it's hard to reach out for support because we are taught that we should be autonomous, independent creatures, when in reality, we are meant to be creatures of community. And I think that you are starting to feel that energy, the need to be creative, and full of community. Um, and you are maybe even starting to recognize the things that do drag you down and make you feel burnt out and make you feel out of place and unhappy generally. And you are starting to feel like you are ready to take action towards living a more fulfilled life. But the crux of it is that you have learned to express yourself in a specific way that is detrimental to you. Um, Detrimental because it's almost a stoic way, you know, that you go about feeling. And, I had a great therapist who at one point was talking to me about um, anger. I was at a point in my life where I was not very in touch with my anger anymore. I had I don't know what I should even say to you all, but it's okay. I'm an open book. Um, I struggled with anger. I struggled a lot with being able to express it after spending a childhood being told off for feeling anger. And the thing that my great therapist told me was that the second that you suppress one feeling, you suppress them all. Um, so me turning off my anger meant I turned off my ability to feel happy. I turned off my ability to feel love, to feel fulfillment. And I felt that very much to be true because when I got back in touch with my anger, I realized that there's a whole onslaught of other emotions that I was experiencing. And I think when you learn to have this very controlled, calculated way of feeling, it can really hurt you overall. Um, because there is no rhyme or reason to intense emotions. And feeling intense emotions is just another reminder that we're human and that there is no shame in feeling that way. We should feel intensely. We should feel strongly. It is a beautiful and sort of sacred thing, and it is what differentiates us from, you know, robots. Um, I'm feeling called to say this. It's strange, but it has been on my mind heavily lately. But if you have been using AI regularly in the form of like therapy or companionship, or even for just like low level information, and you find yourself having conversations or even just like brief chats with I am calling you and, whatever power that moves through me and my intuition is calling you to put it down. Because when you are in a place of feeling burnt out and in a place of feeling directionless, things like this can really detrimentally affect your mental health. And I think that's what a lot of this reading is sort of about. Being on a path of poor mental health for a long period of time. I mean, and I'm saying this as someone who has had that experience myself. Um, it it can quickly become a situation where you don't feel a will to continue, if that makes sense. And it requires a lot of strength, and on the other side of it, when you do start to come up for air and you do start to see the light a little bit again, you can sometimes really wonder where your mind was at when you were in a dark place. But I think it's all about perspective. When you are living so deeply inside of yourself, when you are feeling tired and burnt out and like life is going one way and you are out of the driver's seat, um, it's very easy to turn to instant gratification. And I think large language models and chatbots and generative AI and all of that. I mean, it's all the same thing. Can seem like a very quick fix, but essentially that feeling of companionship that you gain is just a temporary band-aid when there is more work to do. And the work to do is on yourself. It's inward. It's turning inward. If you are into journaling, I'm going to pose a question to you. At your loneliest, where do you turn? I'm gonna leave that in my description just so that people can answer that prompt to themselves. And I can tell you for myself where I personally like to turn. At my loneliest, I like to turn to my journal. I like to sit down and I like to shut off my brain and I like to write without thinking about what I'm saying. At my loneliest, I turn to my cats, um, who are lovely companions, and I turn to my friends as well. Um, I find that loneliness for me usually comes from an inability to be vulnerable with other people because at the end of the day, not most people, but a lot of people do have others around them who are more than willing to listen and to be there and to be a friend. But when you are in a place of lacking the ability to be vulnerable, that lack of emotional closeness can make you feel really lonely. And sometimes there are things weighing on your mind that you feel like you can't share with others, but others do want to listen. So, that is something that I challenge you all to do this week is to turn to someone and let them into your lives. Um, it's really hard. It feels like sometimes the world is ending around us, especially right now. And I think that when you are trying to be very controlled about the way that you express yourself out of fear of judgment of others, um, it's easy to think that you are telling people everything and you are simply not. Um, and allowing trust into your life can also be difficult, but at the end of the day, what is the worst thing that can happen? Sure, they can, turn around and laugh in your face. That's horrible. But in all likelihood, when you have a friend, there's a reason that you keep them around. You think that at some point you could trust them enough to express yourself. So I challenge you this week to tell someone something new about yourself and to let vulnerability into your life. Do not be held down by shame and fear and guilt and worry. You are a very deserving person, and I can tell you pretty definitively that if you can show strength through this period, things will become lighter and softer. But also be discerning about who you open yourself up to. You are a sacred being, and it's very easy to convince yourself that someone is good for you when they are not. So use your judgment, use your discernment, assess the way that you feel when this person enters the room, how their energy brushes up against yours. And if it is comfort and safety and peace that you feel, this is someone to keep around. And if it's excitement, as lovely as it can be to have someone who's very exciting around you, they can put you down the wrong path. Excitement at times and stirring of your feelings can be a sign of maybe disruption in your energy, but it's not always positive. And I just I also challenge you to use your discernment. Um, because if you don't, this is going to be a painful new path that you are stepping into. It's coming for you whether you want it or not. But if you cannot open yourself up to others, it's going to be a more painful entrance into this, yeah, new path. Um, but sharing yourself with others and not letting yourself you know, sink to the bottom of the ocean alone is it's beautiful. I have this incredible several card spread that I'm looking at here, and in every single spread, people are sharing, um, handing something to one another. There's just groups of two all throughout, and I don't know if you I think that if you do not already have a significant friendship or relationship in your life, you can expect that to come given that you let yourself open up. Um, but yeah, if you don't, this process will be wrought with pain and inaction. You will still feel out of the driver's seat. So give some control back to yourself and allow yourself to share this life, this beautiful, crazy, sometimes painful life with others, and you will feel so fulfilled. Um, because you are capable of blooming, you are capable of having everything that you want and everything that you ask for and things that you didn't even know that you wanted. They're all there. Vulnerability is power. And it starts with you. You are the key to your own success. But if you cannot share yourself with others, if you can't listen to your intuition, you will never be able to get in line. So, um, I think I'm going to leave it there for now. I'm gonna see if I can pull one more card. I pulled the same card that I had before from another deck. Um, yeah, that's really it. Vulnerability is power. Own it. You are you are doing great. Life's hard. Life's fucking painful. I don't know if I'm allowed to swear. I don't care if I make money off of this channel. Truthfully, like, I'm not expecting to see any sort of following here. But, I still am going to post because I feel that I can sometimes just. It's interesting. It feels like my mind is blown wide open at times, and that I am full of insight and like things I can't even explain to you. I'm going every time I read tarot for my friends and for myself, it's almost as though I stop. It's like I'm watching myself do something. It's almost dissociative, but it doesn't feel like true dissociation. Um I feel connected to, yeah, like the collective conscious. I don't know why I'm telling you all that. I just I yeah. So I'm gonna continue to read, even if I'm demonetized every video. Even if I don't even know if I'm gonna turn on monetization on this channel. I have no followers, so it's not even in the cards right now. But yeah, I do feel the need to share my insight with you all, and um, I hope that this video has given you something that you can take away and that makes you feel understood or seen. In order to channel the collective better, I ask you that you like this video and comment on it. It doesn't even have to be like a real comment. You can leave me a fish emoji. Like, I don't care what it is. It just helps me tap into your energy better if I can read that comment and there's that like transference. Um, so yeah, I thank you so much for watching this video today, and thank you. I'm also going to leave some resources in the comments to help out those in Palestine who are suffering at the hands of a basically eugenicist crusade, and that is, up to you whether or not you will donate. But I do encourage you to share and to not let these beautiful people in this beautiful city go unheard and unnoticed, especially after a journalist who is from the United States, where I am from, was unalived today at the hands of the eugenicist regime of Israel. It is very sad to watch a group of people who experienced such severe oppression, who had a genocide committed against them, go on and do the same to another group of people. But there will be justice, and that is what I will leave you with today. Thank you so much for watching. Bye.